guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with another trope recommendation video. I am here with one of the most popular ones from TikTok, and that is I Hate Everyone But You. I think a couple of people have done this on BookTube, so I will link any other videos that I know down below. And this one is more, I had a hard time with this one because I don't know if it means like they literally hate every other person in the world besides them, if they're just like grumpy and only like that one person, or if they are just irritated by everybody in general except for that one person. So I kind of decided to pick these for different reasons. Some of them they're uncomfortable with other people except for that one. So I have I think like 10 to share with you, so I will get to it. The first one I actually just finished this audiobook, and that is Any Duchess Will Do by Tessa Dare. I'm hoping to do a Tessa Dare guide video, but I want to read one more series by her before I do a guide video. This one, our hero's a duke, and he went through something in the past year that he still has not overcome. It is the death of someone, and so he hasn't told a single person about it though, and so he's really been holding everything in, and his mother is fed up. She's like, you need to marry and you need to have a wife and to give me babies. So she pretty much like kidnaps him and takes him to Spindle Cove. This is book 4 in the Spindle Cove series, and that's a place of like spinsters, and he's super annoyed, and he's like, fine, and he chooses the barmaid. She is Pauline, and she works at the like restaurant tavern in Spindle Cove. She's not really that well off. She's got a sister who has special needs, and she has a dad who is really awful to them, and so she only agrees because he says, I'll pay you £1,000 to ruin my mother's scheme of trying to find me a wife. You're gonna come with us for a week and try your best to be awful, and that way my mother's scheme fails and I can go back to doing what I want. But he ends up actually falling for her, and it's just really, really great. I loved how she was trying to become a duchess in a week, and it was really hard to get past like her speech and how she treats people because she's not impressed by all these rich people and she doesn't want to like bow down to them or anything like that. And so it was really great. It got really emotional towards the end, especially because he had finally confided in her and trusted her, and she knew she had to do something about it or else he was never going to be able to overcome what happened to him. So I really love this one. The next one's in book 3 in a series. So with the Spindle Cove series, you can definitely read those out of order. I did. For this one, it is Caressed by Ice by Nalini Singh. This is book 3 in the Psy Changeling series, but this is definitely I Hate Everybody But You because Judd is our hero and he is a Psy. So the other two books, the guy was the shifter and the girl was the Psy, and this one he is the Psy, and he had defected with his family, but he feels inside of him something that if he loses control, he can just like obliterate everybody. He's a very, very, very powerful Psy. And so our heroine was the one that was kidnapped in books 1 and 2, and they finally rescued her, but she was extremely physically and emotionally and mentally tortured by the person who kidnapped her, and she has these new abilities now that she doesn't know like what to do, and she can't shift, and she finds comfort in Judd, and Judd is like, I am probably the most dangerous man here, like, why do you want to spend time with me? Hi, sweetie. Lily decided to come and say hi. And so it was really great how they got to know each other, and it's definitely more slow burn. So be aware of that because he is very hesitant to let loose around her or lose control because he feels like he can brutally murder her. And there are other murders happening and people immediately think it's him, but he's not the one murdering people because he's one of the good guys, but people don't wholeheartedly trust him yet. He really feels like an outsider living among them. So this is definitely I Hate Everyone But You, and it's just so sweet when they finally give in to their attraction. The next one is His Beauty by Jack Harbin. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. He is a beast, and he's literally a beast. He never changes back into a human during things, and so she realizes her father is gone, and I think he was like captured by the beast. I think he was trying to steal something from him, and so the beast is keeping them in his like dungeon, and so she goes and she's like, take me instead, and he does, and they fall for each other, and she really brings out a different side of him. So I feel like the whole Beauty and the Beast trope also is always I Hate Everyone But You because he's just angry, he's a beast, he's cursed, but this one I really enjoyed. It's definitely shorter and a really fun take on Beauty and the Beast. Actually, another Beauty and the Beast retelling is My Darling Duke by Stacey Reid, one of my favorite historicals of all time. Our hero was badly scarred. I believe he was in a fire. So he is badly scarred. He doesn't want to go out into society. He's a recluse, and so our heroine needs to get married. I think it was because she wants her sisters to have, or one sister, to have a better chance at getting a good husband. She thinks if she is betrothed to a duke, that would happen, and so she puts an announcement out that she is betrothed to this duke who no one's seen in like 10 years. And it's really funny because like his solicitors come around and like give her money. They're like, oh, well, you're betrothed to him. She didn't have to like prove anything. Everyone just believed it so she could like use his money and stuff. And she felt bad. She didn't want to, but then she's like, well, I need to keep up this charade. So what happens is he comes back to town for the first time in like 10 years, and he's like, let me see who this woman is pretending to be my betrothed. And it's really, really fun because he says, fine, we'll act like we're engaged if you come to my estate in Scotland with me for like a week or something and spend time with me. So there's a trope in here where they have to spend the night alone in a cabin together, like in the middle of the woods, because something happens. I love that trope in historicals because there's always only one bed there, and it's just phenomenal. And he obviously thinks that no one's ever gonna like him because of his scars. He's very self-conscious of them, and it's so good. I already want to reread this book, and I just read it this year, but I really love this one. The next one is one I have an interesting feeling about because I liked it and I didn't at the same time, and it's definitely not everyone's cup of tea. But it's Credence, and I can't tell you why, because our heroine ends up having a relationship with all three men in this book, and she ends up with one, and it's definitely I Hate Everyone But You. And so her parents die when at the beginning of this book. I think her mother had cancer, and so they have always like been madly in love with each other and don't really pay attention to her. So they both died by suicide, and she has to go and live with her step uncle. She's not actually related to him. She's never met him, and her two step cousins in the middle of the woods, and they're like blockaded off from everything in the middle of the winter. Like in the winter they can't leave, and so they're stuck here for months alone together. And she has relations with all three of them and ends up with one of them, and it's definitely a case of he literally hates everyone but her. And there's questionable scenes in here. She always likes it. That's what this book is. It's definitely was a shocker coming from Penelope Douglas. I don't think any of us expected this to come from her, but it did. And I'm not mad about it, but it's definitely not something everyone's gonna like. Then I have Pestilence by Laura Thalassa. This one I recommended a lot. It is the Four Horsemen series. He is Pestilence, so he's going around killing people of sickness, and he ends up meeting our heroine. She drew the short straw to who's gonna try to kill him, and so they know he's coming. She stays behind to kill him, and she shoots him. He's immortal. He can't die. And so she didn't know that. So he takes her prisoner and doesn't end up killing her and takes her around everywhere with him. He literally hates humankind. He's trying to kill off the world and finds something in her that he likes, and they have a romance. And I feel like this is the trope that is in all of them, because in war, he's going around like killing people through war, and she is there with him. And I haven't finished War yet. I only got halfway through and never got back to it. I do need to. And then Famine is out. I don't know the relationship in that one, so I do think though that definitely counts for this. I really enjoyed this one. Then the next one is Bullseye by Monica James. In this one, our hero is just released from prison, and he lost someone in his past. He was wronged by someone in his past, and that is why he is in jail. And he is out and back in the town that it happened in, and he is determined to get revenge. And his romance is with a girl who works at the club that he gets a bodyguard kind of gig at. He's one of the bouncers, and she's one of the performers there, and she has a child. She's a single mom, and it is a really good romance. It is a duet, so there's two in here, and he is just so hardened and like, I'm going to get revenge on these people who wronged me, who took something from me, took someone from me. And it's really sad because we do get that scene, and it is so heart-wrenching and heartbreaking to read about what happened, and you get why he's trying to get revenge, but he just got out of prison, so you're like, I don't want you to ruin your life again. But it was a really great book. I really liked it. I love Monica James stories, so I would definitely recommend checking this out. Then another one of my favorites is Praying for Rain by B.B. Easton. This is a apocalyptic romance. They're like in the midst of the apocalypse. Everybody's been dreaming that on April, I think it's like 25th, the world's gonna end, and so everybody thinks the world's gonna end, and that date is coming sooner and sooner. And then we get to that date and our heroine meets a guy. He is determined to like survive on his own. He doesn't like anybody, he doesn't trust anybody, but then he kind of has a soft spot for her, and he'll like keep on coming back for her even when he says he's gonna leave. And I really love that. They end up having to go and survive together, and it's great. And even throughout the rest of them, he has a hard time opening up and trusting people because it's a trilogy, and he's always there for her though. And well, except for something annoying did happen in book 2 that I wasn't a fan of, but it was a really great trilogy. And I think that it definitely has this trope because he is like, I'm gonna bunker down and like survive on my own, I don't need anybody else, but he wants to protect her. So this one was really great. And the last one I have was another recent read, and I feel like it goes into the I can't be myself around anybody but you. It's not that he hates everybody, it's just that he can't be comfortable around anybody, and that is Twice Shy by Sarah Hoggle. This one I have a love-hate relationship with as well. I really wasn't a fan of the first 2/3 of this book, but the last 100 pages were so swoon-worthy and amazing. Maybelle's a hard character for me to like. I did a whole reading vlog on this book, and she has all these daydreams that are like take up 2 pages, and then she's like 2 hours passed and I was just daydreaming. I didn't like that about this book. It's really hard to get through in this book, and there's quite a few in here. But she meets Wesley. She inherits this house from her aunt who she hasn't seen since she was little. So she literally quits her job, moves out of her house, and shows up to this house, and it is complete in shambles. Like, it's not livable. And so she has to stay at the cottage where the groundskeeper lives, which is Wesley. He also inherited the house, which she doesn't know, and so he makes room for her and is like, well, you can stay with me since you have nowhere to go while we clean up this house. He's very standoffish when they first meet. He doesn't really like her. He's very quiet. He doesn't like to talk to her. Later on, we do learn that Wesley has anxiety, and the reason why he was kind of standoffish to her is because he didn't know how to really talk to her. And then they start writing letters to each other and notes throughout the house, which is sweet, until he finally like grew comfortable talking to her. And he explains to her, he's like, I can't go on dates because I'm not comfortable. I don't know how to act. I can't just leave if I want to. And he just feels very claustrophobic about that because he's like, I feel stuck. I can't go anywhere because they'll think I'm weird. They'll not understand. So if I'm with them, I can't just walk up and leave if I have to, because that's not like appropriate. And he's like, but with you, I know you understand me, and I'm like accepted by you, and it's so sweet. He has a really hard time even talking and opening up to anybody. It's not that he hates everybody, it's just that he's not comfortable around them. And Maybelle, for some reason, he just really likes being around her, and they really, once they communicate, it picks up, and I loved it. But they don't communicate with each other until page 200, but 200 to 300 just was so sweet and adorable, so that's why I'm recommending this book. And those are some I hate everyone in the world but you romances. Let me know if you have any more of these. Leave them in the comments down below. I feel like a lot of them are like our grumpy heroes, which I do have a video for if you want to watch that. I have that link down below. They just are annoyed with everybody except for the heroine. So I really love this trope. Like I said, let me know if you have any. I will link other videos that I know have been done about this down below, and that's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye.